Job interviews are all about discovery. The company wants to know about your experience and your skills. They want to know about how you communicate. And also, more important, they want to know how you are as a person. How you are going to be a person that is going to be able to work together with the different people in that organization. But the job interviews are not only for the companies. The job interviews are for you as well as a candidate. You want to go there and get to know what's the company about, how they do things, if they're going to be able to give you what it is that you're after. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you what are the things that you should be doing before, during, and after a job interview. What should you be doing before the interview? Before the interview, you should be doing mainly two things. The first thing is research about the company and the people working in that company. For the first thing, research the company, you should be learning about their mission, their vision, and their values. This is very important to show the company that you are interested in what it is that they're doing. Also, it's important to understand their history. You will be better to understand how you're going to be adding value to them if you know about their history, what it is that they have done in the past, and what it is that they're doing now. You should learn about their products and their services. If you can talk to people that have consumed their products and services, and you already know what are the things that you could do to add more value, that's going to be definitely a bonus point. Also, you need to understand which are their clients, who are their clients, and what it is that they're after. Of course, as a software developer, you need to understand what are the technologies and tools that they are using, and most importantly, you should be learning about the different teams and people working in that company. The second point is about going through all your experience and your skills and putting all that information together in order to be able to structure the answers that you're going to give to the company. So first, think about the information itself, your experience, the technologies you use, the ways of working you have used in your current and previous companies. Second, think about how this information matches the requirement of the job at that specific company. Third, structure the information. State your point, explain, give examples, and close the idea. Here, an example. Point. I have experience using React. Explain. I have been using React for 5 years now, both in my previous and current job. Example. I use React to create this and that in this specific project. Close. So I'm confident saying I have experience using React in order to deliver the projects or the product. Listen carefully to the questions they ask you. It's one of the most important things in life. Listen to people. When you're in a job interview, you have to understand what kind of question they're asking you, because depending on the question they ask you, you will give an answer. The first type of question they can ask you is a closed-ended question. A closed-ended question is a question like, do you have experience with React? So how you have to answer that question? The question is closed-ended. Yes, no, for example. So, do you have experience with React? Yes, but you don't have to stop there. First, you confirm and you give the answer. Yes, I have experience with React. But then, if it's appropriate, it's good that you elaborate a little bit. For example, do you have experience with React? Yes, I have. I have used React in the last 5 years building components for the UI. So it's not just about having experience with React, but also letting the other person know what it is that you have used React for and how. So that's the first kind of question that they can ask you, a closed-ended question. What's the second kind of question that they can ask you? Is an open-ended question. An example for an open-ended question is, hey Santiago, talk to me about your experience as a software developer. So in an open-ended question, you have to elaborate. And I always say to people that you have to give them context. An example, I'm a software developer that has been working in the industry for the last 5 years. I have worked in environments where we used Agile, where we had a product owner, a tester, a designer, and a team of 4 software developers. I was one of the software developers in the team, being the senior developer, building the components and the architecture for how all the other developers were going to code as well. I'm just making things up. I'm not a developer, so that might not be the exact right answer. But my point is that you have to elaborate and you have to give context. In this case, start from something wider to go something more specific. And here it is where you have to read the body language of the other person. What it is the body language, if the person is going backwards, or if it's engaged with you, or if it's looking outside, or looking at the time, or checking at their phone. You need to read the body language of the other person to understand if you continue elaborating in that aspect or not. And now we go to the next step, that is asking questions. When you start elaborating and when you start talking to other person and you see that the other person is not engaged or it is engaged, it's very important that you ask questions. Why? Because by asking questions, you will understand what kind of information you need to share. But also, it's very important to ask questions to make sure that you understood what it is that the other person wants to hear. You are doing a job interview, and you want to share all the information that is relevant to the job, and you want to make sure that you are going to be able to share how you can add value to the team and the company. But you have to be aware that there are some people that they don't know how to do a job interview. They're a senior developer in the team, they call them to join the interview, they don't know what it is that they're recruiting for, they don't know what that person is going to be doing in that role. So because of that other person not knowing how to do an interview, you might not get the job. But there's something that you can do. You can ask questions. You can ask questions to understand what it is that they need to achieve. How many people are working in the team? And by asking the right question, you're going to be able to share with them the right information. First of all, you will know if the job is the right job for you. Second, you're going to be able to understand what kind of information you need to share with the person that is sitting with you in that meeting room, or in a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet. And the third thing is that by asking the right question, you can also show them your knowledge. How it is this? Well, if you ask specific questions of specific things that if you don't know about it, you could never ask, well, that's another way to show the other person that you have the experience that they are after. Also, I just thought of one more thing that I would like to add. Make sure that you are asking questions about how they work, how many people are working in the team, what it is that they are trying to achieve, and meaningful things. When you are asking these things for you to understand if the job is the right job for you, you are showing the other person that you have an interest in that opportunity. The worst thing you can do when people ask you, do you have any question? Saying, no, I have no question. Or asking at what time you can go and have lunch. I know that this probably is outdated, but there are some people that ask, what's the time to start? What's the time to finish? Or, I don't know, what are the benefits? I'm not saying that benefits are not important. I'm not saying asking what's the salary for that role is not important, but you need to understand when is the right time to ask those kind of questions. You have finished the interview, you are going home, and you might think that there's nothing else to do. But there are two main things that you could be doing. Number one thing is to follow up. If you didn't ask when you should expect feedback from that interview, if you don't know what's the next stage in the process, if you don't know any other thing, or if you forgot to mention something, this is the right time to follow up. How you can follow up? By sending an email. You can definitely go back home, send an email to the person that you had the interview with, or to HR, and say, hi, Maria, thank you very much for the time today. I really enjoy having a meeting with you to learn more about the company, the teams, and yourself. I wanted to thank you for your time and also ask you, when should I expect feedback from you guys? I should expect feedback in a week or when? It's okay if I follow up in the next couple of weeks to see, or in the next few days, couple of days, to see what's the feedback, how we are going to progress or not. And also it's a good opportunity for you to share something that you might have forgot. Of course, a job interview, it's a moment of pressure where you have to showcase all your skills and give a good impression. So there might be things that you forget. You might forget when you're in the interview. So that's the right time to share extra information. But more than talking about something that you want to share with them, it's better if you have a project. You can share your GitHub, you can share the blog, you can share something else for them to consider for the interview process. So that's the number one thing that you can do, follow up. The second thing that you need to do, this is mandatory. You need to keep talking to people. You need to keep building relationships. You need to keep applying to jobs because you never know what's going to happen. There are many things that are out of control when it comes to a job application. You don't know if the role might be put on hold. You don't know if there's another candidate that has more experience than you. You don't know if there's another candidate that has the same experience than you but is asking for less money. You don't know. You just don't know what's going to happen. It's completely out of control. But there's one thing that you can do in order to control what's going to be your next job opportunity. That is, keep building relationships, keep applying to jobs, and moving on. Looking for a job is a job in itself. You have to prepare, you have to have a strategy, and most important, you need to understand what are job interviews for. The companies want to get to know who you are, and you want to make sure that that's the right job for you.